All right. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful. Bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. So, I hope everybody had a good Ramadan and you enjoyed your Eid. And so we're back. We're back. All right. This is a second rebuttal to the claim that the Quran says allegedly that sperm or semen comes from the backbone and ribs of a man, right? Now, you may have seen the first video. If you haven't, I suggest that you watch the first video that I did where I dealt with that and refuted the claim, right? So sometime afterwards, I got word from somebody. Wa alaikum salam, brother Muhammad Zakaria. I got word from someone that somebody supposedly made a made a refutation to the video or whatever, right? Person is going to be left unnamed because I didn't really watch the video. I saw it, meaning I just saw that, afterwards I saw that a video is up. I didn't watch it because they really don't have enough views. It only had like 65 views. Usually I don't address somebody. I had a rule since way back that the video of the person who makes a claim against me has to at least have 100 views. At least. That was back in the day. I should raise that up now. But back in the day, as I said, they had to get at least 100 views. And this person did not have 100 views. I didn't watch the video, but I kind of have an idea of what they were trying to claim because I engaged with somebody on Pal Talk. It may be the same person, I don't know, because they tried to act like it, like somebody else did it. But it's probably the same person. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. But I got an idea of their claim. They basically seem to think that the tafsirs refute me, right? They seem to think that the tafsirs that are in English, everyone, and I'm going to show you why the tafsirs don't refute me, but they seem to think that the tafsirs that they read in English, seem to expose that I left out some information or I didn't tell the full story or whatever. But I'm going to show you that no, the tafsirs, they're in English, and I already showed people in the first video why the English translations say ribs and backbone, right? We showed that in the first video because we looked up the word loins, and we see that even in English, the loins is said to be the area between the hips and the backbone and the ribs and all of that, right? So we found out that this is the origin of that translation. And so it's no different from the tafsirs. However, when you look at the tafsirs and you see the Arabic, just like in the Quran, the Arabic in the tafsirs also use the word sulb and tara'ib, which, as I showed in the first video, does not mean ribs and backbone. But the fools think that they know something, so they said, oh, the tafsir. Remember, idiots, these tafsirs originally were not written in English either. So I'm going to expose your poor, I hope you're watching this video, or I hope you do watch this video. I'm going to, like I exposed you in that debate on Pal Talk, your poor research skills. I'm going to expose the foolish, weak, and sorry poor research skills of these people and this person. Okay? So, again, this is, like I said, the second rebuttal. The first rebuttal was clear enough, but now we're going to go deeper and we're going to expose further that these people just don't, they just don't know how to do the research. And that the Quran does not say ribs and backbone. It still doesn't say that. I'm going to break it down even more, and I'm going to further refute and rebuttal their claim. And I'm going to go to the tafsirs to show you that even the tafsirs still don't say the ribs and backbone even in the tafsirs. I'm going to show that. The translation may say that. The translation may say that, but when we look at the actual Arabic, because those tafsirs were originally written in Arabic, you will see that in their language, they're not saying ribs and backbone. And I'm going to show you the actual Arabic word for ribs and the actual Arabic word for backbone, and you will see it does not match up to sulb and tara'ib. You're going to say that. But no problem. We're gonna deal with it. Ahmed Ibrahim, welcome. Don't forget, guys, before we begin, to like the video. Right? Don't forget to like the video. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe. to our channel. Inshallah, we're going to try to get back and get consistent with videos. Don't forget to support the work that we do. You know, the brother Farid, alhamdulillah, brother Farid Response, he just made a video the other day, yesterday I think it was, where he was talking about the need for more people to, you know, the Dawah channels to do more rebuttals. Of course, those of you who know me, you know that I've been in this space for 10 years. I've been one of the first. I've been among the first. Myself, Sammy Zatardi, there were a few others, but I was in that first generation of YouTubers who, you know, were making rebuttal videos to people like Robert Spencer, David Wood, you know, James White, etc. since way back, okay? But I agree with the brother, you know, and I didn't know, I wasn't aware that there are, you know, that there are Muslims who, instead of, you know, getting on the haters and the attackers of Islam, they're inter fighting with one another. I've never seen that, you know. I guess that's not what I look for. But, you know, he said we need to do more of it. Yes, he's right. We do need to do more of it. But I just want to state that I've been here for 10 years. I've been here as long as David Wood and all these other people that have been. I've been doing the debate. I've been refuting them, debating them. I've had public debates with David Wood, Robert Spencer, you know, Nabil Qureshi, you know, and others. I've been here. I've been here doing this. And, you know, I'm still asking for your support. So when you get a chance, don't forget to utilize the links in the description of the video. We have the Patreon. We have the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we could use your help. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely use your help to, you know, expand, as I've been saying this for years, to expand, to do the work. On my Patreon, I said I wanted to get 10 followers, and I don't know why, you know, but I still haven't gotten my 10 followers. Now, of course, we have the coronavirus thing, so, you know, that may make it difficult now because of people, you know, either being laid off from work or whatever. But inshallah, I would still like to achieve my goal of getting up to 10 supporters, 10 consistent supporters on my Patreon. Right now, I'm down to 3, unfortunately. I'm down to 3. But mashallah, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I still keep pushing forward regardless. But yes, indeed, your brother could use your help. As I told you, the same way those people helped David Wood and the Spencers and the apostate prophets. These people got supporters on their Patreon. Go to Patreon and put in their names, and you see how many supporters they have, and then come back and look at your Muslim brother and see what kind of support that your Muslim brothers get. It's really shameful, man. You know, we Muslims, we gotta support, man. Support your brothers and sisters who are out here trying to do this work. You know what I'm saying? Support the brothers. So now enough. I want to keep going. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Brother Sammy 701, appreciate it. False sex like she are okay. Good. Welcome. Thank you. And for the brother who, you know, he gave me a Cash App a while back. You know who you are. I don't know if he wants to put it, so I'm not gonna put it out there and put it public. But may Allah reward you, bro. You know who you are. You know who you are. You gave me that Cash App. It definitely helped. Appreciate it. So, you know, may Allah reward you for that. And by the way, yeah, that helps me to do today's video. So, you know, so again, we need your support, brothers and sisters. All right, support this content the same way that those people support David Wood and the rest of them. Support your brother so we can be able to dedicate more time to do this work, because yes, this is work. Alhamdulillah, I love doing it. Whether I'm getting, you know, whether you support me or not, I will continue to do whatever I can do. But if you want more content like this, right? If you want more content like this, if you want us to be able to expand the work that we do and keep up at the pace, David Wood, like the brother Farid said, he's probably doing like 2 videos a day. I can't do that right now because, you know, I got other things I got to take care of. But if you support me, give me the support that I need, then inshallah we can keep pace with refuting David Wood at that same pace. I'll gladly try to put out 2 videos or at least 1 video per day, because that's what he's doing, right? I can't do that right now, but with your support, inshallah, we might be able to do that. All right, appreciate that, false sex, for stopping in. All right, but let's get to it. Let's get to it. So here we go, everybody. So as I said, this is a second rebuttal to the claim that the Quran allegedly says that semen or sperm comes from the ribs and the backbone. As I said, I demonstrated in my first video, part 1, that is not the case. That is not what the Quran is saying in its original language. Okay, and I showed you the origin of that translation. Right? Let's take a look at it again real quick. Let's take a look at where that, for those who may have missed it, Where does that translation come from, right? Let's take a look. All right. So as you see on the screen, here is the Webster's dictionary. And what does it say of the loin, right? Or loins, a part of the human being or quadruped on each side of the spinal column between the hip bone and the false ribs. Okay. It also can refer to a, we're not, obviously that's not what it's talking about, but it can refer to a cut of meat comprising the part of one or both sides of the carcass with the adjoining half of the vertebrae, including but without the flank. This is this part right here. Number 2 is the one we're talking about. The upper and lower abdominal regions and the region about the hips, i.e. the pubic region, the reproductive organs. So as you can see, and I showed you in the other video when I showed you the old Oxford Dictionary, where again, as it says in the first, it's the area between the hip bone and the false ribs and the back, you know, all that. That's where they got that translation from. That's where it came from. But is the Arabic actually saying that? I already demonstrated. No. The word sulb and tara'ib does not mean ribs. It doesn't mean backbone. Doesn't mean hips. It doesn't mean any of that. Okay? Any of that. But let's get to it. So like I said, the person made a video and they think that they're exposing something. They think they exposed me. They think they caught me out there. They think that I was leaving off something because they went to the tafsir in English. And they think, oh, because the tafsir says the translation is ribs and backbones or whatever, because as I showed you, that's what the English dictionary says. That's where this area is at. They say this reproductive region is in that region of the ribs and the backbone and the hip bone and the rib. You know, that's what it says. So they translated it like that. But is that what the Arabic says? I showed you that's not what it says. The Arabic is not saying that. So let's take a look at it. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right. So I saw on, like I said, I didn't watch the person's video, but I saw that their the screenshot of their, you know, of the video, it had a picture of the tafsir right here of Jalalain. And so obviously I already got that. And as I said, I had got word on Pal Talk that somebody supposedly made a video refuting, and I suspected it's the same person, but they didn't want to say it was them. But I suspect the same person who told me on Pal Talk is possibly the same person who made the video, right? So they think, and I saw their screenshot has a picture of this right here. So as you see in English, it says issuing from, well, here it says the loins of the man and the breastbone of the woman. Okay, right? So as I said, can you guys, oh wait, let me put that on the screen. Yeah, you can see that on the screen, right? So as you see here, okay, the Arabic word right here, see where the hand is at? That's the word sulb, al-sulb, wa at-tara'ib. Okay, all right. So everybody, how about we go look and see what's the Arabic word for ribs and backbone, to see, is that what do those words match? Do those words match with the do those words match with the Quran? All right. So here we see, I went to an Arabic dictionary online, right, for the word for ribs, as you can see. Right? For the word rib. What's the word for ribs in Arabic, everyone? So when you click on it, it takes you to here. All right, it takes you here to this this dictionary, Reversal Dictionary, ribs, right? We want to know rib, English to Arabic. So what's the word for ribs, everybody? Is it sulb? Is it tara'ib? What's the word? Well, here it is. Here, listen to the word. All right, this thing plays you the sound of the word.
Dulua.
Does that sound like the word sulb? Does that sound like the word tara'ib?
Dulua.
Okay, dulua. That's the word. That's the word for ribs, everybody. That's the word for ribs. Okay, that's the word for ribs. As you can see, this is it right here. Dulua. Right? Dulua. Okay. Go back to the tafsir. As you can see, it's not the same word. Right? Nor is this word. They don't match, right? That's the word there. Do they look the same? Right? Sulb, tara'ib. Right? There's the word right here. Doesn't sound the same. Nothing. They're not the same word. That's the word for ribs. Hear it again one more time.
Dulua.
All right, dulua, that's the word for ribs in Arabic. Notice that's not, the Quran doesn't say the word ribs. The Quran is not saying ribs, everybody. You got it? The Quran is not saying ribs. Dulua. Okay? It's not saying ribs.
ضلوعي كانت.
All right? There you go. It's not saying ribs. That's not the word in the Quran. All right? That's not the word that's being used in the Quran. All right? So, sulb and tora'ib. From the, here the translation, again, loins of the man. They put breastbones of the woman. Now, so let's go to that next word. Right? What about backbone? What about the word backbone? Perhaps they might get us with that one, backbone. So here I put in, as you see, I put in the word backbone or spine. Right? Here's the word for spine in Arabic. Okay, your spine or your backbone. As you can see, it's not the same. It's not tara'ib. It's not sul, none of that. Let's hear how you pronounce it.
العمود الفقري علم.
Al-amud al-fikri. Does that sound like sulb wa tara'ib? No, it does not. Right? No, it does not. Hear it again.
وظائف الأعضاء يمكن أن يجعل لام عدم استقرار العمود الفقري العمقي.
All right, the word again.
العمود الفقري.
Okay? Not sulb wa tara'ib. That's the word for your spine or your backbone in Arabic. And you heard the word for ribs. So you notice that the Quran is not using those words. Okay? The Quran is not using those words when it comes to that verse. All right? Surah 86. Right, here it is right here. Surah 86. It's not using it. Now, the translations, they keep putting backbone. They keep, see, here's the word right here. And by the way, here's how that word, sulb, is used throughout the Quran. Only in one place here is they have it as backbone. But again, like I said, we understand that we know why they translate it as backbone, because they were using the English meaning of the word that they got from the dictionary on how the word loins is, translated, right? What it means. So that's why they keep putting backbone. But we know that literally in Arabic it doesn't mean backbone. But notice here they put your loins, but they should have put that right here as well. It's the same word. It means your loins. It doesn't mean your backbone. Right? It doesn't mean your backbone. In other places here, and what I'm going to show you why, here's the same word. I love this website because it shows you how the word is used throughout the Quran in other places. Here's the same word used in other places, and it talks about crucifying a person, crucifying. But it's the same word, salabu, right? The sulb, it's the same word. Now, why is that? Why is it the same word can mean a man's loins, and it also can be used to mean to crucify somebody? But you know what it actually means, though? It means you're putting the person on an erect thing. That's why. Because you know why? Let's go to the lexicon. Let's go to the lexicon to find out why it could mean the man's genital area, and it also can be used to mean the crucifix. You know why? Well, let's take a look. Here's the Arabic to English lexicon by Edward William Lane, page 1712. There's the word right there, sulb, as you see it, without the vowels, but that's it right there. Everybody see that? That's it right there. So, here it is. What does it mean? It means hard, something that's hard. You guys get the picture. If you're a man, you know biology, you get the picture. Something that's hard, something firm, rigid, stiff, tough, strong, robust, sturdy, or hardy, right? As we go along, you'll understand why it could be used for a crucifix, because it is something that is erect. You get the picture? So it also can refer to that. That's why he says you call the person he's crucified, meaning he's put on this erect thing that's erected standing up, and the person is put on that to be, so it all depends on the phraseology and the context of how it's used, how you would understand it, that you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, the origin of the word means something that's hard, You guys get the picture, right? I'm PG, but you know what, you get the picture. Something that's hard, firm, rigid, stiff. You get it? Right? But it also, you will see as we go down, it talks about something that's erected. Again, you get it. You get the picture. And that's why it could refer to the man's genitalia or a crucifix, because the crucifix is something that is that's rigid, hard, and it's erected. You got to erect it up to put the person on it. Get it? So in this context, it's talking about the man's genitalia, which obviously when intercourse takes place, it gets what? Hard, firm, rigid, stiff. Right? There you go. Okay? So notice the word doesn't say ribs anywhere or backbone. Notice that, right? Here is the word sulb. Notice you don't see it means backbone. It means ribs. Right? Although I guess your backbone could be considered to be, erected. But notice still, again, we already showed the word for your backbone is not there in Arabic. So notice this thing refers to, look, right? Something rugged, something an extending place. Come on, guys, you're grown men, figure it out, right? An extending place. It could be of the earth or the ground. That's why when in the context of a crucifix, you use the word sulb, because the crucifix is put into the ground and it extends from the ground. Well, in the context of a man, in the context of the verse, which is talking about reproduction, well, we know that your genital, the male genital, extends, right? Come on, all right? A hard place, a hard part of the earth or ground, or this last attractive, rugged, depressed, and stretching land, blah, 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 right? But again, you get the picture, right? It signifies something hard, something extending. It could be of the ground or hard and elevated, right? Guys, get it? You get it? Right? Everybody gets it, okay? And it keeps going on through the different meanings of it. But I notice I don't see, ribs or backbone here. Again, perhaps your backbone could be, because your backbone is erect. But like I said, the word, we already just showed you the Arabic word for backbone, spine. We already showed you the direct Arabic word for that. But notice here in the lexicon, right, that it's the, that's not the case. Right? Most of the cases there, it's not referring to that. Okay. Look, just as I said, see, now look, it could be the backbone right here. See at the bottom, it could be the backbone, because your backbone is extending and erect. But as we know that we know that obviously sperm isn't coming from there. And again, the word, as it signifies in its overwhelming usage, is the loins of the man, because it is that hard, stiff, erected place, right? Okay. So here we see further meanings of the word as we go through. Let's see. Any portion of the back containing vertebrae, the loins, and the back, as it says, is an explanation of a verse. They go further. Let's see. Here's the main part too. These are the sons of their loins, because the sperm of the man is held to proceed from the sulb of the man, as is said in, I don't know what that is there, but here, right here, that addresses the point that these are the sons of their loins, because the sperm of the man is said to proceed from the sulb. Okay, the sulb, from that hard, stiff, firm, erected place, i.e. of the man. All right. So it's all about context, right? It's all about context and usage of the word. So as I showed you in the Quran, where is it at? I showed you in the Quran that these are the uses of that word, right? This is how that word is used mostly throughout the Quran. In two places you have it referring to you know, the genital area, it appears right here. The loin, your loins, and here the same thing, your loins. They put, like I said, they put backbone, but it's the loins. It's the genital area of the man, right? The majority of the places it refers to like somebody being crucified, as you see here. Crucified, 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 right? And so in the majority of the places it refers to crucified. But again, as we demonstrated, why is that? Because it's referring to the erected place, right? It's referring to the hard, erected place that's being erected, and that's in that context the person is put on there. And the same thing with when it comes to the male reproductive area, rather than your backbone. So we showed you exactly what the backbone is. So as I told the person in that debate, right, that you have to see obviously the context of how the word is used, right? We know that sperm does not come from a man's backbone, right? We know that. So you can't superimpose your claims upon what Allah is saying. Allah said sulb, right? And the sulb is, as we see here, that hard, stiff, erected place. Well, that's correct, right? Your semen, your sperm does ejaculate from the male genitalia, which at that time of intercourse is the hard and erected place, not your backbone. All right. So going back to the tafsir, as I said, that's the words that's used in Arabic. Sulb wa tara'ib. It's not saying backbone and ribs of the woman or any of that other stuff. Right? Everybody see that? So again, we showed you the Arabic word for your spine or your backbone. It's not sulb, it's not tara'ib. You heard it, hear it again.
علم وظائف الأعضاء يمكن أن يجعل لام عدم استقرار العمود الفقري العنقي.
Again, he's saying the whole, as you see, he's saying this whole phrase here. But the word right here is the yellow highlighted area. So hear it again. Here's the word itself for spine or backbone.
العمود الفقري.
Okay, not sulb wa tara'ib. That's the word you want to hear. You want to hear sulb wa tara'ib. That's not what you're hearing in here. And back to the ribs again. The ribs is what?
ضلوع.
Dulua, that's ribs. Notice the Quran doesn't use those words. Doesn't say ribs, doesn't say backbone in Arabic. All right? So, let's go to the next tafsir because they try to claim they got something from that too, right? So, let's go to that one. Tafsir of Ibn Kathir, right? So the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, they think the same thing because it's using that same language. Here you see in English, it says proceeding from between, notice they put it in brackets, between the backbone and the ribs. They put it in brackets. The Quran is not saying that. Meaning, now that's the explanation in English, meaning the backbone, or notice he puts the loins. Again, I already showed you why they put backbone and ribs in reference to the loins of the man. They got that from the English dictionaries. But again, is the Arabic actually saying that? No. But in English, they put the backbone or the loins of the man and the ribs of the woman. We already showed you the word for ribs and backbone and spine. We already showed you that, which is referring to her chest, right? Again, remember, all these people spoke in Arabic. They didn't speak in English. Remember, these people spoke in Arabic. They did not speak in English. So when you read that, oh, so-and-so said, that doesn't mean he said that in English, though. You have to go what he meant in Arabic. And we showed you what these words mean in Arabic. So here again, what's the words? Is he saying backbone and ribs in his actual language in the tafsir? No. Here's the word, as you can see with a highlighter. There it is again. As-sulbi. Right? Wa at-tara'ib. Same thing. He's not saying the words dula and the word for spine or backbone in Arabic. He's not saying that. So the tafsirs are not saying that in their language. Understand why the translations say backbone and ribs. That's where they got it from. They got it from the English translation. Right? But is the Quran actually making a scientific error? No, it's not, as we are demonstrating. So let's now take a look at, as you can see, he's not saying that. He's saying, so what? Even here, as-sulb wa tara'ib. Right? So in English, they put preceding between the backbone and ribs. Why do they keep saying that? Because the English translation, here it is again. Right? They keep saying that because that's what the English translation is telling them. Between the hip bone and the false ribs. The region about the hips. But it means the productive region. That's why they kept translating it like that. But in the language itself, it is not saying that. All right, so he puts here the backbone of the man and the ribs of the woman. Again, that's not what Allah is saying in the Arabic. All right? It's not what Allah is saying in the Arabic. So let's take a look at the other word. Let's take a look at the other word. The other word, tara'ib. What's that word? Okay? What's that word? As you can see, here's the uses of that word throughout the Quran mostly. Right? And I showed this person the same thing. Right? That as you look, the same word, tarab, right? How it's used throughout the Quran. And as you can see throughout the Quran, it doesn't mean ribs at all. Right? It's not even used for ribs at all or chest area either. Again, now you see here they put ribs. But again, I'm going to show you, as I showed you in the other video, it doesn't mean ribs. But why do they keep translating it like that? Well, we already got the answer. But we're going to go deeper. We're going to go deeper. Notice how the word, it means dust. How come they didn't put the dust? How come they didn't translate it as dust? Because look, the word can also mean dust. Look here, see? Dust. Most of the time it means dust. Dust. Tarabin. Turabin. 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 Turaban. Dust. 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 Most of the time it means dust. So how come they didn't translate it as the between the loins of the man and the dust? Well, we're going to deal with that. I dealt with that when I debated the person as well. Because, again, the word tarab has a lot of different meanings. So we're going to look at that as well. It also means misery, according to this verse. That's one place, misery. All the other places, it means dust, 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 dust. Well matched, equals and aged, well matched. One place, supposedly ribs. But again, I already demonstrated that it doesn't mean ribs. So let me demonstrate it again. So again, going back to the tafsirs, right? Let's go now to the word, right? We already showed you ribs. They said tara'ib means ribs. I showed you that it doesn't. Right? I showed you that it doesn't mean ribs in Arabic. Right? We gave you the word. We gave you the word for rib. This is the word for ribs again in Arabic.
ضلوع.
Dulua is the word for ribs in Arabic. Right? That's the word for ribs. Okay? Here, matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to this verse and hear it and see. Does he say dulua in Arabic? Let's hear it. Let's see. All right? Let's hear it. Let me see. Hold on a second. We can play the verse. Yeah. So where's the recitation? Hold on. All right, let's play it and let's see if it says that word. You heard the word, right? Dulua is ribs. So let's play the verse. Let's hear it and recite it in Arabic. And then let's see, does it match? Does it sound like the same word? Let's see. All right. We want to play the recitation, right? Let's see. Hold on. No, wait, that's not it. We want to play the recitation. Hold on a second. The recitation. How do you play it? Manual press play. Okay, what do I press play at? Oh, play. All right. Okay, play it. Oh, now let's see. Can't get it to play. Usually it just plays it on its own. You know what I can do? I know what I can do. Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait, I think this other website allows you to play it. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I'll go to this one. All right. So you can hear it. Surah 86, verse 7. All right, so let's play it and let's see, everybody. Remember now, let's go back to make sure you hear it now. All right, the word for ribs is what?
ضلوع.
Dulua. That's the word for ribs. Okay, that's the Arabic word for ribs. Let's see, does the word tara'ib, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Let's see if they're saying ribs in Arabic in this verse. Let's hear it. Ready?
يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب.
All right, so there you go. You didn't hear dulua, right? You didn't hear dulua. You didn't hear that. So the verse is not saying ribs. The verse is not saying ribs. And again, the word for backbone. The word for backbone.
علم وظائف الأعضاء يمكن أن يجعل لام عدم استقرار العمود الفقري العنقي.
Again, the word, this is the right. Remember, when he says the long sentence, he's just saying that long sentence. The word itself for spine or backbone is this.
العمود الفقري.
All right, now in that verse, did you hear that? Did you hear al-mud al-fikri? Did you hear that? Let's see if we hear that.
يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب.
Okay, so we didn't hear him say that either. So he's not. So the Quran, Allah is not saying your backbone or your ribs. He's not saying your backbone or your ribs. Literally, he's not saying that. Literally, he's not saying your ribs and the backbone. The Arabic word for ribs, you heard it. You heard the Arabic word for spine or backbone. You heard it. The Quran is not saying it came from your ribs and your backbone. All right. So now let's delve into this. Let's delve a little bit deeper into this. Into the tara'ib word. All right. Let's go a little deeper into that. So we saw how the word is used mostly throughout the Quran, right? Right? Mostly it means dust. The majority of the usage of the word in the Quran is dust. But clearly it's the woman or there's no dust involved in the act of intercourse and conception of a child. Right? Clearly that's not the case. So let's get into that word. Let's see here. No, that's sulb. Okay, that's sulb. We want, where is it? Is it here? I had it. Hold on a second. All right, hold on a second. Wait, I think I still have it here, don't I? No, all right, hold on. Let's go. I know it's page 301. That's Dara'ib, and we want, let's see here. Let's make that bigger. All right. Here we go. I think it's right here, right? Dara'ib. Yeah. Okay, all right. So yeah, let's take a look at that. All right, here we go. So we're going to start down here. All right, so let's see. Where do we want to start at? Let's see. I believe it starts right here, right? Let's see. May his arms or his hands cleave to the dust of the earth and the stones by reason of poverty. And some of the Arabs put the nouns in the norm case, still using the phrase in some sense. Alright, let's see here. Dara'ib, right? Dara'ib, right? It is right there. In his mouth is dust or earth, or may dust or earth be in his mouth. Alright, may he die or be in his grave. It is said in tradition that God created meaning the dust or soil, or according to TA, the earth. On the seventh day of the week, created upon it mountains on the earth, mountains on the first day, trees on the second. One says, I will assuredly beat him so that he shall bite, i.e. bite the dust or earth. All right. Obviously, but again, it's all here's the other meanings of the word. And this is what I showed the person in the debate. Right. Here's what I showed. All right. Now he tried to make some kind of point claiming that, because some of the lexicologists say that, it can be used a lot of times as the chest area or whatever, but notice still it has these other meanings. So obviously the other meanings would apply, and I said this during the debate, based on the context. We know that nothing in the reproductive area comes from the chest of the woman. So obviously it can't be that. Why those translators chose that? Maybe perhaps in those early days it was out of their own ignorance of the science. But again, you can't put that on Allah, right? Allah says what he meant. And this word obviously carries a number of meanings that can still show you that you don't have to make you don't have to hold on to some kind of wrong scientific explanation. Because notice, look at what the word further means, right? Meaning between them two is the space that is between. So it can mean the dust, right? It can mean dust, but it can also mean between them two, between two persons. Okay, well, what's the verse talking about? The verse is talking about when a man and woman conceive a child. So between the sulb and the man and the space between him and the woman, right? Between them two is the space that is between. So the fluid is ejected between the sulb and tara'ib, between the two spaces. What's the two spaces? Obviously between him and between him and the woman, right? But let's go further. Let's go further. Here, look. It says in two places. It means this word tara'ib could also mean in two places. You see it right there, right? And again, I showed the person during our debate. He tried to claim I was lying. He said, "Oh, that's not there. He's lying. He's not there." Yes, it is there. It's right there. These guys are so caught up in their hatred of Islam that they're blinded. He didn't look at the whole page. He looked at one part of the page and thinks, "Oh, no, he's lying. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say between the two places. Mr. Islam is lying." Meanwhile, if you would have looked at the damn page, the whole page, and looked at the whole thing and try to get an understanding, you would see that it's right there. Nobody's lying. It's right there. Does everybody see that? It's right there in this middle column. Between them two is the space that is between. And then the heaven and the earth, between heaven and earth. It also means in two places. Okay? So let's go up to the column up here. Right? Now this is the part that he tried to harp on in the debate, right? Because he got this little part here. Oh, look right here. Well, it which signifies the part of the breast. Okay, yeah, but we know that nothing of the woman in reproduction comes from the breast area. So obviously Allah is not saying the breast. It's obvious that Allah is saying in between the two places. In between the two places, obviously, is the explanation that's going to fit, is the definition that's going to fit. Because we know nothing comes from a woman's chest plate in reproduction. When she's having intercourse, you know what I mean? I know a lot. No, forget it. I ain't gonna say it. Now, you know what I will say? There's a slang, right? There's a slang here that we have in the United States, right? When it comes to the act of intimacy, where some men, in a boastful manner, will say that he's in the act of intimacy, he's getting up in the woman's chest. Obviously, a braggadocious manner of speaking, of his male prowess and genitalia. But obviously, no man, is like that. You see? So nothing in the intercourse, intimacy act gets up into the woman's chest area, right? So obviously, that's not what Allah is saying. It's obvious that he obviously is saying in between the two places. Okay? So he harped on this one little part right here. Look, oh, see, it says the chest area, and the lexicologists say that, a lot of them commonly say that's what it is. Okay, that's fine. But still, you can't deny that the word still carries its other meanings. And obviously, since we know that nothing in the reproduction comes from the woman's chest area, that obviously that's not what Allah is saying. So you can't superimpose that on Allah. Allah said what he said. He said sulb wa tara'ib. The word has a number of different meanings. It means dust. Did Allah mean the dust? No, obviously not. Okay, so scratch that off. It means between the two places. Okay, well, that makes more sense because Allah's talking about the man and the woman in intercourse and the conception of a child. The fluid is ejected in between the two places. Okay, but what else could it mean between the two places, right? So like I said, he went on this part right here. The bones of the breast that are between the collarbone and the pap, or the part of the breast or the chest that is next to he harped on that part instead of still looking at the whole thing, right? Or the four ribs of the right side of the chest or the four of the left. Okay, of the two arms. Look, now here's the other part that it could mean. It could also mean, or between the two arms, all right, or the two legs, or the two eyes. Well, which one out of those three, which one fits when it comes to intercourse? Is it ejecting between your two arms? Is it ejected between the two legs? Is it ejected between your two eyes? Obviously, no, it's not the two arms. No, it's not the two eyes, but it can mean the two legs, right? We know if you're an adult and you've taken biology or you have children, then obviously you know what happens between the two legs, right? You know what happens between the two legs. He claimed, again, the person I debated, because he doesn't know how to obviously read, or he's not looking enough to get the full meaning. Oh, Mr. Islam is making it up. He's lying. It doesn't say that. Oh, yes, the hell it does say it right there on the page. I showed you in the middle column where it talked about in between the two places, right? And here it talks about it could also mean and between the two legs. All right? And between the two legs. So it means between two places. And obviously it depends on the context. What do you mean between the two arms, the two legs, the two this, the two that, between the heaven and the earth, between two places. The two places that it means obviously depends on the context of what you're talking about. Here Allah is talking about the conception of a child. So obviously the two places in this context is the two places. Either it's going to mean it's ejected between the two legs, or it could mean, if you want to be more PG, in between the two places, in between the man and the woman. All of those can carry that meaning. So sorry, you didn't refute anything, you didn't expose anything, and I didn't lie. It's right there. Obviously, when I made the first video, I was showing the ones that are relevant to the claim, obviously. But if you want to look at the whole thing, sure, look at the whole thing, and then choose that which fits the context that is being spoken of. So as I said, we know that nothing scientifically comes from the woman's chest or her breast when it comes to the conception of a child and reproduction. All right, so now, well, what are the other meanings of this word? Okay, when we look at the other meanings fit right in line, show that there's no scientific error at all, because it can mean between the two legs. It can mean between the two places. All right? Okay? So as we go on further down, right, they give all these, they're giving all these other meanings, and all the two ribs that are, after talking about the two places, the two collarbones, everything is the two this, the two that, right? Hold on. Right? Then they go on to say, as I said in the other video, right, where I highlighted the main points, but since we're going to look at the whole thing, it goes on to say, what does it say? MF says that Tara'ib relates to males and females in common, but most of the authors, on strange words, because this word is considered a rare word, a rare strange word, that's what I showed on the first video, but most of the authors on strange words affirm decidedly that this is peculiar to women. Okay? Peculiar to women. And then it goes on to give some other meanings here. All right? So, as you can see, the word does not mean your actual ribs at all. It refers to a space between two places. It can also mean dust. It can also mean, as they said earlier, the breast area, the chest area. Yeah, it can mean that too. But it also means between two places and two spaces. And it's peculiar to woman. So as I showed you, it can mean between the two legs, the two eyes. What fits, obviously, either between the two places, meaning between, the fluid is ejected from the genitalia of the man, between him and the woman, either between the two legs, or in between them, as they're, in the act of intercourse, between the two of them, or between the legs of the woman. And obviously, you know what that is. And if a child is meant to be conceived, the child is conceived, and there it is. All right. So sorry, you didn't expose anything. You didn't refute anything. You only exposed your own ignorance. You only exposed your own ignorance in this regard because you didn't do enough research to try to make, to see if you really had a point. So as we looked at again, the tafsir, yeah, in English, unfortunately, they keep using these old, outdated translations. All right, here at least this one's a little bit more. It puts loins, but it puts the breastbones of the woman. Inaccurate. They should have put between the loins of the man and between the two legs of the woman, or between the loins of the man and between him and the woman. The two places between him and the woman. You could have put that. That would have been a more accurate translation. But again, in the Arabic, notice it says sulb wa tara'ib. It doesn't say the Arabic word for ribs or spine and backbone or ribs. It doesn't say that here. That's the Arabic right there. Sulb wa tara'ib. And again, we gave you the Arabic for each one. The literal Arabic word for ribs and the literal Arabic word for your spine or your backbone. None of those words are used by Allah. So Allah himself is not saying that it comes from the ribs or backbone at all. At all. Okay? Same thing in Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Right there. Sulb wa tara'ib. Sulb wa tara'ib. He's not saying ribs and backbone in the Quran, nor is he saying it in his language. Ibn Kathir in his language and Jalalain in their language, they were not saying ribs and backbone. Translations, unfortunately, using old, outdated translations. Right? Unfortunately, using old, outdated translations. But again, I showed you where they got that from. I showed you where they got backbone and ribs as a translation because of the dictionaries, what they say, where the loins are at. That's where they got that from. But in the Arabic, it's not saying ribs and backbone. Sulb wa tara'ib. Sulb wa tara'ib. Okay? So is that not clear from here on out? So the person who made the video, your video has been refuted. Thoroughly refuted. It's been thoroughly demolished and refuted. Okay? We hit it from every angle. So that's what I'm going to teach you guys in the future. You haters and attackers. Stop trying to just go by the English translation. You really want to try to make a point in your really in research, then go deeper and start using these language resources. Start using the dictionaries and the lexicons to see. And when you lose the lexicons, as you see, don't try to just pick the one thing out. Look at the whole thing and then be honest and see what fits. What fits? This word has several meanings. Well, which of the meanings fit the context? Right? Which fits the context? Why these translators, these early translators chose ribs and backbone, again, we showed that. We showed why. We showed why they chose that. But we see that they didn't mean your ribs and your backbone. Right? And we know that Allah doesn't mean that, because Allah didn't use the word for ribs or backbone, spine. He didn't use those words. Okay? And as we see, as the lexicons demonstrate, the deepness of how these Arabic words carry a lot of meaning sometimes. This one word can carry many meanings, sometimes meanings that are far divergent from another. Like I said, who would imagine that the dust, that it can mean dust? And how can a word that means dust somehow mean between two places? Between two legs, two arms, two eyes, between the heaven and earth. You know what I mean? Like, wow, but that's the Arabic language. That's the Arabic language. Same thing with the word sulb. Now, the word sulb, that one you can kind of see. Okay, it means a hard, stiff, erected thing. All right. Right? It means a hard, stiff, erected thing. So you can see the origin, the etymology, how the word, the history of a word, how it travels from one thing. It means this, and then it could be used to refer to something that's sticking out the ground, or, something that's standing erect. Anything standing erect. A crucifix. The male genitalia. A stick stuck in the ground, sticking up. You know what I mean? All these different things. So you can see how the word, forms and evolves in a language, and its origin and its meaning. But when you look at it, look at the full range of its meanings. Right? Look at the full range of its meanings to see. right? Look at the full range of its meaning so you can see. And then see which bets fits that understanding. All right? Muslim by choice, Eid Mubarak, Sammy 701, Eid Mubarak to the brothers and to the sisters. So with that, I believe we covered everything there. Again, the person has been refuted. Like I said, we're not mentioning any names because they don't need, they didn't even get 100 views on that video. So I'm not giving nobody no free promotion. All right? You get no free promotion from me, but I do make sure to, you know, destroy any that want to try to, you know, make an attempt to claim that I was lying or that, you know, I didn't cover everything or whatever. No, it's all right there. Now, if you claim that it wasn't done in the first video, now it's done now. Fully done right here. Completely decimated. Am I not clear, brothers and sisters? All right? Every angle we showed that the argument, their claim is completely false. So I would just end by cautioning brothers and sisters to be aware that a lot of these translations were done in the early, you know, either late 1800s, early 1900s. And so they're using that old language. They're using the word loins and ribs and backbone and all of that. But alhamdulillah, when we actually look at the meaning of these words, we see that the words don't actually mean that. We see that the word for bone, backbone or spine is a completely different word from those words used in the Quran. When we look up the word ribs, we see that the Arabic word for ribs is a completely different word than the words that are used in the Quran. When we look at those words that are used in the Quran, we see that they carry a number of meanings. And obviously the context will demonstrate, you know, what's that you're supposed to choose to fit the context. Okay? So with that, we'll end it. Don't forget, like the video, right? If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to support your brother. You can utilize the links in the description of the video. Cash App, Patreon. I also added another one too. I added a new one. It's called it's a Brave, right? Brave is a VPN browser, right? You guys know what a VPN browser? It allows you to like the VPN basically allows you to surf the web without giving off your location. It kind of like it kind of puts forward like a false location, so that way you can, you know, search the web and things like that without people being able to know where your location is at. You kind of protect your privacy like that. So that Brave browser allows you to, you know, it's a useful VPN browser, but it also allows you to support people with a digital currency called BAT. It means Basic Attention Token, and basically it has a value attached to it. And if you want to, like, if you don't want to do Cash App or join the Patreon or whatever, you can use BAT. You can use the BAT token to support content creators like myself that you like their work. You can, you know, you give them some BAT. So, you know, you just got a number of options if you want to do that, if you want to use that route. By the way, that Brave browser is pretty cool too, because what happens if you get the browser, right? The browser, it blocks a lot of like commercials and ads and stuff like that. But what it does, it allows you to choose what you want to see. So I don't know if you remember earlier, you might have missed it, but when I was talking earlier, you saw that thing pop up on the lower right hand side of the screen, right? That was an advertisement, but it was just letting me know if I want to look at it. If I want to look at the advertisement, I'll click on it and then I'll see it. And guess what? The good part of that is that if you click on it, you will actually be paid a BAT token for watching that advertisement. So basically, it's a new way of advertisement. So instead of an advertiser, you know, paying to advertise, and, you know, if people watch it or not, you still got to pay. This allows people, like if I was the advertiser, every time somebody clicks on it, I would only pay when they click on it. So instead of just paying for a random advertisement and people look at it, whether they look or not, you still paid. This one, you only pay when people look. And so if I'm the person who's being advertised to, if I would have clicked on that ad, I would have been given a token. So throughout the month that you use the browser, they'll, you know, every once in a while ads will pop up, and you can either ignore it, close it, or you can look at it. And every time you look at one, the Brave, they'll give you will be given BAT by the advertiser because you took the time to look at their ad. So it's just something, you know, another way to help support if you don't want to use the other means. But whichever mean you choose, I'm grateful for it. You know, again, I still have my book. You can, you know, help us by buying the book. You know, so there's a number of ways to help support the channel so we can get the content done. So again, with that, we'll go ahead and close it out. So again, like the video, share it on your social media, and let's get the word out there, inshallah. All right, appreciate you guys turning in. And again, hope you had a good Ramadan and a happy and joyous Eid. I know that unfortunately because of the corona, a lot of places we weren't allowed to celebrate or do anything, but nonetheless, hopefully you still had if you were just with your immediate family, then you enjoyed that as well. All right, assalamu alaikum.